Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing a video talking to you about the pistol you see here in front of you. This is one of the Tisas Duty 9 DS pistols, basically their version of a 2011, we'll call it. It's a double stack, 9mm, 1911 style pistol. However, unlike many of the other 2011s on the market, this thing comes in at a significantly lower price than a lot of the others on the market, while still being, I think, fairly packed with features and has actually been running really well, at least better than I expected. So let me just go ahead, run through the features of this gun, how I have it set up, and then we'll dig a little bit into what the performance has been with it so far and some of the testing that I've done with it. So first of all, it, as you can probably tell, is optics cut. So this is cut for the I've got like the Holosun 407K on there, so any optic that fits that pattern will be able to work. Like the EPS, I think there's a version like the EPS carry. There's a couple different optics that fit that K cut for a pistol dot, but I love that it comes with that straight out of the box. As with most 2011s, we've also got the full-size accessory rail down here, so I've got one of the Surefire X300s on here. I mean, between the Surefire and the optic, we're about the same price as the pistol itself. So again, pretty reasonably priced as far as the gun goes. We've just got some blacked out serrated rear sight with a just white dot on the front sight. Although, as you can imagine, I probably haven't, well, not probably, I haven't been using the iron sights on this thing very much. We have an ambidextrous safety, so whether you're right-handed or left-handed, you can very easily actuate that safety. It's a little bit flared, which makes it really easy to get onto, because this really isn't set up as a concealed carry pistol. It's more of a competition or duty pistol, as the name implies. We've got an enlarged grip safety back here with a nice big beaver tail attached to it to really allow you to get high up on that slide without worrying about that coming back and biting you. And then we've got this kind of polymer housing for the frame of the pistol, and it is a little slick, so I did put some tape on here. It's very similar to what 110 SAS Actual did with his. Honestly, I saw his video on it after I bought mine, and I thought, that just looks cool, and it is also very functional because the grip is a little bit slick out of the box. Now, some of the variants that Tisas does have a bull barrel. This one is one of the versions with a barrel bushing, so like a more traditional 1911. I know some people will say the bull barrel is more accurate, but we'll definitely touch on the accuracy a bit later. I don't think it's going to matter that much, at least not for like 99.9% of you guys watching this video. And then we do have a slight flared mag well, so it is a little bit easier to get the magazines in and out. And it does come with two of these, I don't remember the manufacturer of these 17-round mags, but it does come with two 17-round 2011 mags that have been running very well for me. I also have tried it with the Duramags. Again, we'll touch on that a little bit more later on in the video. So basically where this came from is I was perusing PSA's website for deals, as I do more often than I probably should, and I came across this thing, and it was on sale for under $600. Even the normal MSRP on these things is really reasonable, but at under $600, I thought, you know what, let me go ahead and try it. I had shot 2011s in the past, and they were fine, but I was never going to spend the money to get, like, especially a Turkcatto, and the 2011 from the company that shall not be named was kind of meh in my experience. So I thought, you know what? I mean, how bad can it be? If it's bad, it'll make it for a good video. If it's good, it'll make for a good video. So I can't really lose out. And then I also have an excuse to try out a 2011, or at least a 2011 style pistol, because I know some people are going to get real pedantic about what is or isn't a 2011. So I didn't have super high expectations for this thing when I first got it in, but I got it all set up, put the optic on it straight out of the box, and just started shooting it, and it was actually really nice. At very least, it's way better than a pistol in this price range has any right to be, in my opinion. So at least a 2011 in this price range should be. So I picked up 1,000 rounds of some Blazer 124 grain full metal jacket 9mm and just started going through it. I have also run some of the MagTech steel cased ammo through this, which it handled no problem. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do with it too, being that it is like 2011s are traditionally competition style pistols, is I wanted to run it through a USPSA match. So I did actually run this thing through a USPSA match here earlier this year. It's my second ever USPSA match, and with it I took dead middle overall, which, considering that a gun that I ran the time previous, I ended up like lower third overall, or like bottom third overall, to finish dead middle with a gun that I was less familiar with, had less trigger time on, and cost less. I was pretty happy with that. Now, it's also worth saying, because it was my second one, I learned a lot of lessons in the first match that allowed me to do better in the second match, but I was still really happy with the performance I had, and that was even with two of the stages having failure mics, or failure to engage, or whatever you want to call it, because I didn't have enough ammo. I only had the 2 mags that it came with, so there was one target at the end of both stages that I just couldn't shoot at because I didn't have enough ammo. I should have borrowed one from someone else, but it is what it is. But again, that is about as good of a performance as I could be expected to have just myself as a shooter. So that, to me, really also sold me on this pistol, the fact that I was able to do so well. And even for the price range, again, I know there's going to be more expensive ones that are tuned better or shoot better, but I can just shoot this thing so stinking fast and still be really accurate with it. If you guys saw the Training Tuesday video I did a couple weeks ago, where it was the transition drill, is that what it was? Center. Basically, you're running from one target to another and you're dumping 5 rounds into the A zone at each position. This thing, it's literally can run as fast as I can pull the trigger, and just the way this thing shoots, that dot just stays in that window. It's super flat, and it just keeps putting those rounds right where I wanted to go. Again, I'm super happy with that. Are you maybe going to get a better pistol out of a gun that costs $2,000? Yes, obviously fit and finish and all that stuff might be better, but I'm still really happy with this. Now, it is also worth mentioning, one of my friends, GB Guns, picked up one of these pistols recently, because I ran this thing through another, I don't want to say competition, it was like a demo for the AccuShoot indoor shooting thing, which again, I also have a video on that where you would have seen this pistol. But he picked up one of these things shortly before I saw him at that, and he was saying that his, if he pulls the slide back, he can just let go and it'll catch and lock itself open, kind of like a AK that's not well fitted or well put together, where you just pull it back and if you leave it, it'll stay back. Now, he says his shoot's fine, but it does hang up at that position at the back. So with this lower price range, you are going to be potentially dealing with a bigger dice roll as far as whether you get a good one or a bad one. Whereas if you spend $2 grand on one, you're pretty much guaranteeing you're going to get a good one. So if you're willing to roll that dice and you want a 2011, again, I think this is a really good option. Now, it hasn't been totally flawless. I have had a couple malfunctions with this. So I've had a total of 3 inline stovepipes where basically, let me grab an empty case here. So this is what an inline stovepipe would look like, where instead of sticking out perpendicular to the axis of the barrel, the case is inline. Now, there's a couple things that could contribute to that. It could be just poor extraction. It could also be rounds coming back, hitting the lens, and then bouncing back in. Last time I was out shooting with this thing, I think it was last weekend, it happened again, and I had the camera in a position to actually catch it. So, and I haven't actually reviewed that footage yet, but I'll roll that footage in so you guys can see, you know, was it hitting the lens and bouncing back in, or what was the cause of the malfunction? And then aside from that, again, last weekend, I had an issue with a failure to extract. So gun's firing, closes on a, or actually it was caused a double feed, so slide cycles back, round does not leave the chamber, tries to push another round into the chamber. I dropped the mag, ran the slide, caught on, and then it was able to extract after that. So I don't know if it's just dirty or what the cause of that malfunction was, but that is another malfunction that I've had with it. So at this point, with about 1,200 rounds through it total, we're looking at 3 inline stovepipes and 1 failure to extract, which again, for a sub $600 2011 is gonna, I'll leave it up to you to decide whether or not that's acceptable. but I'm okay with that. Now, that's also because I'm not using this as a daily carry gun or as a duty gun. It is purely a like range competition gun for me. And at that point, I'm a little bit more lenient with that failure rate. Ah, shit. Failure to extract. Okay. Now, one other issue I should mention, and this has been with both the mags that came with it out of the box, as well as the Duramags that I've been running through this thing as well, is because the mags are longer, like most 2011 mags are long enough for like 9mm Super, or 38 Super, excuse me. Because of that, I do run into a thing, and let me see if I can actually make it happen. So I've got a round in the chamber with some rounds in the mag. Okay, so it didn't do it, but you can see that the round now is sitting forward. That's because, again, the longer magazine body causes this round to be able to float forward, and it seems to happen on the top round of a magazine. Let me actually see if I can make it happen by shooting. Okay. Yeah, so it's not doing it right now. Maybe it needs to have a more full magazine, but what will happen is that top round will actually come far enough out to where when I pull the mag out, if it's not empty, a round will just fall out. So if you're trying to do like tactical reloads or anything like that, where the gun isn't empty, but you're trying to reload it more proactively, you're gonna dump a round. That's just something I would bank on happening. And again, it's because of that longer magazine. And I don't know if there's any way to mitigate that. It's just a fact of life, unfortunately. Now, it is worth mentioning that I've cleaned this thing a total of 3 times in that 1,200 rounds. I did it after about the first 250 rounds, just after that kind of initial break-in. I don't wanna call it a break-in because it ran fine straight out of the box, but just to kind of let things slick up a little bit, then I did it again at about 500 rounds, and then again at about 750 rounds. So about every 250 rounds or so, I just gave this thing a quick cleaning. And a lot of that was just so that I could look at how it was wearing internally and see if there was anything jumping out at me that could lead to issues down the line, and that there just wasn't any. And in the amount of time that I've been shooting it, it's just allowed it to slick up even more. And again, it's just a really, really nice shooting experience. It's not gonna have the same fit and finish as, again, one of those expensive guns. If you look at the back, you can still see gaps in between where the frame and the slide are. But again, not so much so that it's actually gonna degrade the accuracy performance of it. So let me go ahead and talk about that a little bit. This gun is more accurate than I am, is really just the long and short of it. Let me go ahead and show you a test I did, shooting 10 rounds at 5 yards, and we'll come back. So I want to go ahead and do a quick accuracy assessment with this Tisas pistol. So I've got that target at 5 yards. I've got 10 rounds in a magazine. I've got a little black square paint marked onto the head just to give me a consistent point of aim. We're not necessarily trying to hit the square because at this distance it's a little bit closer than what the optic is zeroed for. We're just trying to see how tight the group is that I'm able to shoot. We're just going to be doing it standard offhand, again here at 5 yards. And I'll be taking my time. All right, so I know a couple of those were a little bit off because of me, but let's still go take a look. So not too shabby. Again, that's a 10-shot group there. Some of these I know I kind of rushed on the trigger before it was really lined up. Again, that's just the nature of the beast when you're shooting offhand. If we were shooting rested, we could probably do even better, but that is about as good as I can shoot personally as a human being. So I am not in any way limited by the accuracy of this pistol. I am the limiting factor, and that's a good position to be in. Because it's worth mentioning too, one of the things that people talk about with these is they have a bull barrel version, and then they have this bushing version, which this is the bushing version. The bull barrel is theoretically going to be a little bit more accurate. However, the real question is, how accurate are you as a shooter? Because if you can't shoot as well as this or better at 5 yards, you're not going to really notice the difference between the bushing or the bull barrel. You, again, could be the limiting factor. Very, very rarely is the gun the limiting factor for most shooters. So again, as I said earlier in the video, and I said there, this is the bushing version of the gun. The bull barrel version is more expensive and I'm sure is more accurate. However, you have to understand there is a point of diminishing returns. It is very, very likely that this gun, even in its less accurate version, is going to be more accurate than you are as a shooter. At that point, you have to decide, is it worth me spending an extra couple $100 to get that bull barrel when I am not going to notice a performance increase or decrease based on that criteria alone? Again, that's something you have to decide for yourself. Like, I can't make that decision for you. But for me, I'm totally fine with dealing with that barrel bushing. I also just like the look of the barrel bushing. I think it just looks a little bit more classic up front with that more 1911 classic look. But again, that's a totally subjective piece. I've been doing a lot of yapping now, so what I want to go ahead and do is just shoot this thing with a shot timer. I'm just going to do a couple build drills. So 6 shots in the A zone as fast as I can. I'm also going to just run the timer just so that I can see what my splits are, running this thing as fast as I can. So I'll also just do it out of the holster, because why not? Okay, so that was 1.444 shot, not very good. 1.9, 1.7, 1.6, 1.7, 1.6. So not too shabby. Let's try that again, see if I can't speed it up a little bit. Try to go a little too fast, I think. It got faster than my finger. 1.15 for a shot, and then a 1.8, 1.5, 1.4, 3.3. That's where I hung up, and then a 1.7. I find that if I go much faster than a 1.6, I start getting hung up a little bit. I should have enough for 5 rounds on this next one, or 3. All right, that was a 1.8, 1.6, 1.6. So again, this gun can run as fast as I can mechanically pull the trigger. And again, that's a good position to be in with a gun like this. Again, just something I'm super happy with. Now, if I were to give some feedback to Tisas, if they wanted to improve on this, I would say do a little bit more texturing on the grip. It is a little bit slick, hence the tape here. This is just regular hockey tape. It's way cheaper than buying any of the fancy gun tape out there, and it works. I would prefer to have some sort of tritium or some option for sights out of the box that are a little bit more tactical, I guess. But again, for the price range, I can't be too critical of that. I love that it's optics cut out of the box. I love that it's got the full-size rail, so it looks really good with the X300. The holster that I'm using is the same holster that I used for the Tisas Raider, the 45 ACP one. It's been working great. I did have to notch out where the magazine release is, because I did find when I was first test fitting it, it would hit the magazine release and cause the magazine to drop out, because it is a slightly oversized mag release to make it a little bit faster. But again, it's just been working really well. So for the 2011 you have at home, kind of your budget 2011, I am super happy with it. I would say that if you're looking for one and you don't want to spend a ton of money and you're just looking for something fun to have at the range, I would recommend taking a look at these pistols. Tisas overall has been super impressive to me, between the experience I had with the Raider that I, again, purchased with my own money, or this Duty 9 DS double stack. Again, super impressed, paid my own money for it. So it's not cherry picked or anything crazy like that. I'm just super happy. So if you have any experience with one of these pistols or anything else in the Tisas lineup, definitely throw those in the comment section down below. That way people watching this video can have as wide a range of experience to pull from. If it's all positive, great. If it's all negative, also good and informative for whoever's reading it. If it's mixed, that's also good. So definitely throw your experiences down in the comment section down below. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can throw that down below as well. I do want to say thanks to my patrons for helping to make a video like this one possible. Again, paid my own money for the gun, paid my own money for all the accessories, paid my own money for the ammo. So the contributions I get over there on Patreon help facilitate that and make it a little bit easier for me to justify running 1,000 rounds or over 1,000 rounds now through a gun like this, and just having a lot of fun in the process. So anyway, with all that being said, as always, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really appreciate you watching.